Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well. Me just leaving church a little while ago, and went by to see my grandson. But I wanted to come on here and have a little quick discussion today on this Sunday afternoon. And the topic that I wanted to talk about was what happened to the money in Perry County for infrastructure. And the reason why I wanted to have that discussion is because I did a post this morning, and in the post I did this morning, I asked that question: what happened to the money given to Perry County for infrastructure? And that is not an exhaustive list. And what I mean by exhaustive list is that doesn't include everything. That was just things that I could find and verify myself through different sources in awarding, things that they awarded it. But from the last 16 years, from 2009 to 2025, I was able to verify that Perry County, to include Perry County entities. And what I mean by Perry County entities, I'm talking about like the water board, and there was some other grants that was included for like Marion Military Institute, but I didn't include them because they got it on their own as a school. But there are some funds, there was some grants and money that was found between Perry County entities, Marion, Alabama, and Uniontown, Alabama, for a total of $50 million, a little bit over $50 million over the last 16 years, right? And if you just do math, right? I'm just doing math, simple math. Excuse me. If I do simple math and I go and I do 50 divided by 16, that's roughly $3,125,000 on average was given to Perry County to improve infrastructure. And what I mean by infrastructure, the things I mean by infrastructure, I'm talking about things like wastewater systems, to fix lagoons, wastewater systems, to redo sewage and do waterworks, and roads, money for roads. Those are the type of things what I mean by infrastructure, and to redo, revitalize some buildings as well. I did not include that $50 million, did not include the $1.9 million, $1,930,000 that Perry County got for COVID money. I didn't, if I'm not mistaken, this didn't include any COVID money. So this is all via like ADECA, or Delta Region Authority, or other grants that was given to the area. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this, right, because I did something similar a while back in November, and it was talking about Uniontown, and it showed that, hey, so for example, Uniontown got the most money out of the $50 million. Uniontown got about 30 million of that, and that 30 million went to, the majority of that it was in 2009. They were awarded a $2.3 million grant, a USDA grant, and a $2.5 million loan to redo the lagoon system in Uniontown for that wastewater. That was a total of $4.8 million. And I talked about it before, but that contract was given to a company named Centel Engineering. I think they're out of Tuscaloosa. And there was some issues with that. So they ended up getting, TerraSoil got them some more money. It was $23.7 million, I think, in like 2012, a few years later. And that money was supposed to go to the wastewater, fixing the wastewater. And Uniontown went back. At the time, it was Jamal Hunter that was the mayor. His administration, they went back and hired Centel Engineering, the same company that fell on the first one. They hired them again. And then they end up being sued. Well, there was a court action filed by Alabama Department of Environmental Management against the city of Uniontown to basically force them to abide by EPA violations. So when you start to look at that and you start to look at these numbers, and if you go to my page, you can see, and I itemized it so people can see exactly what the funds was given for. Now, this is important. The reason why it's important is, one, a lot of times people love to announce what grants and how much grant funding they got, but they don't like to tell the people and keep the people informed on what that grant fund is supposed to go towards. Now, the key is, right, the key for all of this is each entity, each municipality or city government or county government, they need to have receipts. They should be able to tell everybody with this. And this is the thing I wanted to inform the people, right? As citizens of the Alabama Open Records Act, right, requires municipalities, city governments, and county governments, it requires them to provide, if you are a resident, requires them to provide public information. So all of these grants, right? All of these grants, when you sit down and look at it, you can ask for that information. You can ask for the information on who that was awarded to, who got that contract, what was the winning bid. You, as a citizen, has the right, according to Alabama Public Records Act, to go and request that information. Why is that important? The reason why that is important is when we're talking about, like, a lot of people can sit up here and say change won't happen and this, that, and the third won't happen. The only reason why it won't happen is people allow it not to happen, right? There may be some additional steps. There may be some frustrating things that you're going to have to deal with. But the key is to stay consistent, to stay persistent, right? To stay vigilant, right? In your efforts, and to stay stubborn in your efforts, right? Because they demand when you demand something, people are not going to freely get it up, right? So yes, you can request it. And sometimes this is what we have to do. Sometimes you have to do official request for the information. Then they say they got a reasonable time. And how it outlined in the Alabama Open Records Act, it's outlined that they got 10 business days to respond. Then they got 10 business days to acknowledge the receipt of the request. Then they got another 15 business days to respond. And then they can get additional 15 business days. So they got a total of 40 business days. So 40 business days, if you look at that at a regular calendar, that's roughly 60 calendar days. So 2 months, right? So it's time for people to put those requests in, because if the city clerk or the county administrator, if they don't reply back within enough time or provide reason why they didn't do it, they can be held accountable. That is breaking the Alabama law. And I want people to really understand that. And the reason why I'm putting this information out there is it is time to really get engaged in the aspect of not just sitting back, not just making Facebook posts, not just being mad about it. We see the apathy. We see the people not doing what they're supposed to do. So now we know the details. Hey, I want to know, for example, I'm just going to use Uniontown. Hey, for the 2021 COVID Response Award that they received, hey, how much, what is the breakdown of what did all that money go to? The $130,128.26. Where did that go to? Right? You can ask that for Uniontown in 2015, Uniontown Housing Authority, they got money for security cameras and lighting and fencing. All right. $178,295. Okay. You can put in a request and ask the city of Uniontown, hey, what was the breakdown and the spend and the paperwork with it? You can request that, because if you're a citizen, you can request it. The problem is when we have for too long allowed people in elected positions to have the freedom of maneuver and to do whatever they want to and not be held accountable. They have not respected the community enough to provide this information, right? And this is no way, shape, form about me, but a person shouldn't have to do all this in-depth research to provide, to find information to give to the community. But this is the funny thing with it. When they get awarded these grants, they tell people, they love to advertise about, boom, they got these millions of dollars. They got this money. They love to tell that, but they don't never come back and say, hey, of this money, this is the breakdown. This right here is the breakdown. It's not, there is no follow through. There are small little nuggets, or it's always presented in a way to where, people, is presented in a way to seem favorable to them. Right. So that's one of the reasons why I shared it. And I want people to really just sit down and think about it. When you start to think about this and you ask yourself these questions, right? And this is the 4 questions that I asked, right? based off of providing that. And the question I asked, what updates have you gotten from, what updates have leaders given the public? Out of all the $50 million that came through in the last 16 years, what updates? And I mean detailed updates, not just, hey, we getting the money, or, hey, this money going to do this, but the plans. What are the updates on the plans, right? Right. It said have elected officials share plans, timelines, contractor info, and progress reports so citizens know what's happening. Have you seen that in the area? Have you seen that in Uniontown? Have you seen that in Marion? Have you seen that in Perry County? Like, I'm talking about consistent, detailed updates, right? Hey, we just got awarded $800,000 to fix County Road 65. All right. Right now, we got an open bid coming up, right? That process should take about 2 months, right? After that comeback, boom. Hey, we had an open bid. Hey, we selected this company to do that work. This company was the one that was awarded the bid at this price, right? The price we got was the price that was quoted to us. We got $840,000. The price that was quoted to us was $825,000. Hey, they're going to begin work at the beginning of March, and they project to be done within 60 days. You see how that is? You see how that will provide trust, that will gain trust, that will build trust with the community. If these elected officials actually just provided that information like that, and not just say we got $800,000 for the fixed County Road 65, and then you never see nothing done with County Road 65. So when a concerned citizen who grew up there come home and go ride on County Road 65 and record County Road 65 with their camera, then they get labeled as outsider and troublemaker, and they don't live here and they don't have a right to ask those questions. Y'all see how crazy that is, right? And it's not hard. This is just simple. And then the other question I have, how much do people trust local leaders with this money? How much trust do the people trust our local elected officials with money? How much? I mean, seriously. And the other one, based on what citizens can see and what leaders have explained, do people feel confident that the money is being used honestly and for the community benefit? And the question that I have with that is, from the $50+ million that has come into Perry County, verified, and I told you this is not exhaustive. This is just stuff I was able to find doing research on my own. There's nothing on the county website, nothing on the city pages or whatever that have this detailed information on it, right? But based off of that, what tangible results can you say out of that money that you see? And I'm going down, I'm going to name some of the things that they got money for. And in 2009, Uniontown got $400,000 saved for grants. So I mean, a grant to fix the sewer. Then they got 4.8 for a wastewater plant, right, to redo the lagoon. Then they got $437,500 in 2018 to rehab the wastewater collection system. Then they got $178,595 in 2015 to upgrade the security cameras, lighting, and fencing for the public housing. Have we seen any results of that? Right? They got $130,000 for COVID. What did they do with that? $250,000 for demolition clearance in 2020. Right? I do know that they did. I can vouch for that they did tear down some buildings that the business owners allowed them to do. But some people, the property owners allowed them to do. But what they ran into that issue is a lot of property owners didn't want the city to tear down a lot of those decapitated buildings that they had. They got $800,000 for new water well in 2023, an additional source for residents. Have anybody heard anything back from that? Right. And I think that new water well that went to the water board. So what updates have you heard from the water board? From Clarence Black, I think that's his name, for the president of the Uniontown Water Board. What updates have you heard from that? Let's go to Marion. Marion has received a total of $11,286,378 over that time, over the last 16 years, right? And for things that I could verify, right? They got $450,000 in 2019 for sewer, right? That was part of their DECA grant. They got $185,936 from the Delta Regional Authority for household water line hookups in 2018. They got $201,253 from Delta Regional Authority for wastewater treatment plant in 2020. In 2021, they got $2,006 from the Delta Region Authority to redo the Tech Pack access road. Now I can say that some of that funding was done to they redid the road getting on 5. But okay, and then they got $9,200,000 to upgrade the city water and sewage systems, and for money to pay for the audits from 2018, 19, 20, 22, and 2023. That funding in 2023, this was in 2023, it was announced, it was on the Black Belt News Network, that Marion was awarded that, and a lot of that was contingent on them turning in the fiscal sustainability plan that the mayor just announced that they requested an extension for because they had original deadline of December the 22nd. So these are the things that people can see, people can ask, you know, and be like, dang, what's going on? Perry County entities. In 2020, they got $840,000 from a USDA to repair County Road 65. Can anybody vouch that the road was done during that time for County Road 65? They got $1.6 million in 2023 from Alabama Department of Environmental Management for water system improvement. They got the Perry County Water Authority got this past year in 2025, they was awarded $2 million for infrastructure improvement. In 2017, they got $42,000 for Delta Regional Authority to repair roads. From what I was told, that money was sent back out of spite. It was sent back by the commission out of spite. If I'm not mistaken, allegedly that was just sent back because it was an ego thing on the Perry County Commission. That's how I would leave that. So instead of using that fund to fix it, because somebody else was the one behind getting the funding, another council member voted to send it back. I mean, another commissioner voted to send it back. $400,000 for the community development block grant for water in 2021. They got $200,000 for isolation cells in Perry County Jail. I'll just leave that right there. In 2018, as part of Perry and Marengo County, they got $3,250,000 to upgrade the sewer in 2018, sewer upgrade. And in 2018, they also got a $500,000 from the Department of Interior and the National Park Service to restore the Perry County Jail, the old Perry County Jail. They got $500 million, and Chairman Turner said that they sent back $285,000 in 2023 of that money. Right. So that is just a quick rundown. Those are just some questions that I wanted to come on here and discuss and have a dialogue about what happened. Why can't we see the $50 million that has been invested or awarded to improve infrastructure? Why can't we see tangible results of that? Why? You know, to redo the water, to redo the infrastructure, and we see $50 million come, but then people still have brown water. People still can't, you know, it's certain stuff like that. That's the question, right? And sitting around and being upset, sitting around and being mad because somebody is asking questions is insane when you sit down and just look at like, dang. And this is the thing that you need to ask yourself. Who has been in office? Who has been in office? So I look at this. If I'm just speaking on Perry County, right? And I'm speaking facts. If I'm not mistaken, and please, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Commissioner Brent Harrison has been on the Perry County Commission since 2002. So this year will be 24 years for him being on that board. Albert Turner has been on Perry County Commission since 2000. This year will be 26 years with him being on the Perry County Commission. Tony Long has been on the Perry County Commission, I think, since he left from being the mayor in 2017. So he's going on 9 years going in, and he was mayor for about 10 years already. So you're talking about almost 20 years of being elected into positions, political positions in Perry County. So out of those three, that's currently on the Perry County Commission, those three collectively have almost 70 years of experience in a political position in Perry County. What do we have? We got three. If we got 60% of our county commission that has collectively has almost 70 years, 60 years, 60 plus years of experience of being political officials in Perry County. The question you got to ask yourself, right? The question you have to ask yourself is, why is Perry County the second poorest county in the state? Why does Perry County has the highest unemployment rate in the state? Why is Perry County the 23rd poorest county in the nation? Why does Perry County still have an aging infrastructure issue when they've already, the county as a whole, been awarded $50 million over the last 16 years, which I said equates to $3,125,000 a year? Why? And you have to ask yourself that question. So when these people, they come and they post and they want to get back in office, these are the type of questions that we need to ask them. Hey, it's proven that there's no real evidence of what you did before. So why would we want to vote you back in now? What makes you so special right now? What's going to change right now? And those are simple questions to ask, right? And that's why I've made it a point to be consistent, to provide information, verifiable information. I have made posts before. I can provide all of the links to all of this stuff. I just didn't want to do it on this post because it was a lot of different links for each one. But I have the links. I have the references where you can go and you can see. You can go and you can see, like, dang it. And you start asking yourself that question. Because I tell you, the more and more I've done research, the more and more I looked into the things, the more and more I looked at the facts, right? It's very disappointing to see the community going and having to deal with the things that we deal with and still have to deal with the same foolishness, right? The same foolishness, the same people are the ones that are perpetuating this foolishness. They are the ones doing it, right? And just think about this, right? What if half of that money was done on infrastructure? How much better quality of life would be for the citizens around? Like, where are the real plans at? Like, I'm talking about plans, like a plan and follow through. Look, Mike Tyson said it, the great poet Mike Tyson said it the best. He said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. So nobody's expecting people to be perfect. Nobody expecting people to understand everything, but people are expecting you to be transparent, open, and honest with them about where we at as a community. Like, seriously. You know what's funny? Every week, we got elected officials that jump on the radio and they propagate and they put out a whole bunch of foolishness, but you never hear them be accountable to a lot of the stuff that they say. You never hear them do it. And one thing I did want to talk about with that is you got to start asking yourself, who's paying for them radio stations? Who paying for the airtime? Where that money coming from? Right? A lot of that money is coming from, a lot of churches supported it. They support that. They've been supporting it. Right? And they ain't knocking on it, but it ain't what it used to be. And we got to be responsible and accountable for what we do. We got to be responsible and accountable for the community. And at the end of the day, it's not about if you agree or not, because it's not about if you agree or not. It's about looking at things from an unbiased perspective. There was a dialogue. I shared a post on the What's Happening in Marion page, what's really happening in Marion page. And I asked the question, what's your thoughts, right? And the biggest thing with me is, for me, I champion myself on being somebody who would have a standard and who is very deliberate about, one, acknowledging my biases, two, being logical in my approach and not allowing my biases to contaminate my ability to see and believe facts, right? See and believe facts. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, you know, we have to be able to, as individuals, to look at things and reason things. Like, one of the things is we are too goddamn tribal in the United States when it comes to politics. You know that one of the most sickening things is this, and you can clearly see it. You will have somebody just because they're in an opposing political party. They will take something that they did and fine-tooth comb it and call them out for everything. But then it'll be the same person doing the exact same thing, but they're aligned to a political party, or they're associated with a political party that a person's associated with. Then they will turn a blind eye, or they will make an excuse for them like it's okay. That's hypocrisy. That's cognitive dissonance, right? That shows that you're tribal. For me, I strive to tell it like it is in the aspect of, hey, right is right and wrong is wrong. It don't matter if you family member. It don't matter if you mama, daddy. Hey, right is right and wrong is wrong. And you have to be deliberate about that, because it's a natural, we get a natural inclination to do that when it becomes our family members. You know, folks will be talking about, you know, they'll be hard on other folks' kids being bad, but then when they kids bad, they want somebody to have, no, your kid bad too. You know it. Like, so you just have to be able to call it like it is. And that's, I'm telling you, that's one of the biggest hindrances in our community. That's one of the biggest hindrances in our community right there, is because we don't want to look at things from a logical perspective. We respond emotionally. We don't look at facts. We only look at facts if it goes against, or we can find some tea against somebody else in attempts to discredit them, so that it can try to, in a sense, make what they said more invalid. No. Like, we have to elevate our way of thinking. We have to. And I would tell you, change is coming in the Black Belt. It's starting in Perry County, but change is coming. And the reason why I know change is coming is because education is happening. Awareness is being raised. I'm telling you, awareness is being raised. I remember on the movie The Ants, it's a clip on there where the grasshoppers, they was at like their little bar, and the grasshopper said, it was like, oh man, it was only, you know, one of the ants stood up to him, and it was like, oh, it's only one little ant, and that little ant ain't gonna do anything. And the leader of the grasshopper was like, oh, it was only one ant. Then he took the little feed and boom, hit him. Took another one, hit him. Oh, that ain't doing nothing. Then he kicked the thing off, and the grasshopper was overflowed with the feed or whatever they had the ants collecting for him. And he talked about the importance of oppression and how to try to stifle those who speak up, because they didn't want the ants to realize the true power that they had with their sheer numbers. Yes, the grasshopper was bigger, but the ants was the ones that truly had the power, right? And I see people making posts and people sharing this, and people say this, and I'm gonna say this with my suit on, right? I'm gonna say this with my suit. People say, you know, Christianity was forced on, people use Christianity to enslave Black people and slave Africans in America, right? This is my comment to that, right? To me, when you make a statement like that, it is misleading, because quote unquote Christianity of itself wasn't used in of itself to keep the Africans or keep people in slavery. The tool that was used was literacy. And nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever mentions that. Why did they make it illegal for slaves to learn how to read? Why did they make it illegal for slaves to have an understanding and be able to read for themselves to get an understanding? Why did they make it illegal? They made it illegal because they know if you are illiterate, if you can't read, then we can manipulate you through books. And that is what is still being done today. But instead of we talking about white people are doing it, we got Black Democrats that are doing it to our community for years in the Black Belt. Because they know people ain't going to go and read certain things, so they just take their words at it. Not today. Because I can read. And the good words of Albert Turner, at the Uniontown at the Uniontown City Council meeting that was in December, and he said this when he got up at the end, and he said, and I quote, some people can they can read about government, but just because they read, that doesn't mean that they understand what it takes. And I said reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. Yes, I can read. Yes, I can comprehend. Yes, I can ask questions. Yes, I also understand if I don't know nothing, I'm not afraid to go ask somebody. I'm just telling people, man, that is why I have been very intentional about providing information so people can verify themselves. That's why I've been intentional about it. Because I want the community to be able to see it, not just take what people's word is. We got to stop believing these folks, man. I'm telling you, these folks have consistently shown that they don't have our best interests at heart. Just being honest with you. That's why I lay it out. You can see the numbers. You can see what's associated with it. And it's just crazy. And yet and still, I've been going strong since got done Halloween. Since October, I've been going strong. And still have yet to be provided any update, anything to prove what I said was wrong. Only thing I get is insults. And I'll say this. I hope people see like I've been seeing. It's been mighty quiet from the chairman, the commission has been mighty quiet about things, the frequency that he loved, used to post stuff. It's been mighty quiet. I wonder why. It's been mighty quiet. But y'all remember, he said, you're not important enough to have the commission to move on anything you say. Never been about that. It's amazing what happened when you raise awareness and the people understand and can see for themselves. It's amazing what happened. All right. And at the end of the day, none of this is personal. I just take full offense to the disrespect that it is towards the people. That's what I take offense for. Because it is not one inkling of respect towards the people. Towards the people. There have been people that said they talk about me. They got stuff to say. Robert Shepard posts stuff every day. He always got something negative to say, blah, 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 right? They got all this stuff to say. What you gonna do about it? You ain't do, blah, 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 right? That's what they say, right? Right? My thing is, with all of that, where have I lied? And what have you done for the community? Because I got receipts. I got receipts because I don't just sit back and say anything. And this is the funny thing, right? This going back to when I talked about Uniontown and they made they organized a cleanup. 2 weeks later, I drove back. I drove 7 hours, right? Drove 7 hours back to help volunteer to clean up a town that I ain't had nothing to do with it getting dirty like it was or looking like it was, but I drove back to support. I was one of 5 people, and all them folks that had something to say, where you at? All them people that got something to say, where are you at when supporting the stuff in the community? Where are you? Where are you at with sponsoring Little League basketball teams that I've done for the last 3 years? Where you at? What have you done? What have you done to give back to the community? All of these people, folks say, oh, he don't know sugar, honey, iced tea. I'm going to let y'all figure that out, right? What have you done? Like, what have you done to make your community better? Like this whole stuff, you know, for all of this time, where have I lied at? Like, and that's the whole thing. I don't care if you agree, but if I lied, tell me where I lied and give me where I can reference it, and I'll come back and I'll say it. But when I find information and I put information out, right, and I ask questions, then people feel like I'm look, and one thing I hope people have learned, I'm not going to talk out of the side of my neck. If I'm going to say something pointed to an individual, I would say it pointed to an individual. I'm not throwing no innuendos out there. I'm not going to suggest, no, I'm going to be very direct in that aspect, because if I'm addressing something publicly, right, it's going to be something that is dealing with public issues. I'm not going to address anybody private information. I'm not going to address anybody private business. I don't deal like that. So that's why I say, if I'm like people, you can ask a question. You can share what somebody else said and they want to spin it. Why they do that? Some people just miserable. Right? And some people are afraid that they're going to lose out on the crumbs that they've been getting. That's the biggest issue. And you got to ask yourself, why are you so comfortable with getting crumbs? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself. And you know what? If somebody really cares, you'll see it in their action. You see what they do. You see it in what they do. You see it in their action. You see it in what they do towards others, right? Because at the end of the day, I ain't never made this about me. This has always been about empowering the community to raise awareness, right? Everybody's trying to figure out if I'm trying to run for office or what. I'm not getting nothing out of this. I just want what's better back home. So when I move back there, shoot, I ain't got to deal with dirty water. At least I can see a plan or something going better. Like it's just that simple. It's not right. I say to have this saying all the time, right? We got to stop making rocket science out of a coloring book. Coloring book is to stay in the lines. It's just that simple. We like to make it complex to make it seem like it's something else, but these folks just been lying. Why? Like, just ask yourself this question. If we getting all this money coming in, why don't we know who got what contract? Because I will tell you, the reason why a lot of times they don't want to let you know who got what contract, because you can go and you can start looking up certain things. You can start Googling certain people's names. When you find out a company, you can go, and especially if they're a company in Alabama, you can go to the business entity and look up that company and see who name on it. Then you can start Google certain name, and then you'll start to realize, hey, this person, they've been in a lawsuit, or they've been part of a fraud over here for giving kickbacks for other contractors. So why did we hire them? Then those are things that make you go, Yeah, Hicks John said, can you imagine taking someone to court and then being forced to present evidence that incriminates yourself? Not going to happen. They will remain silent. Yes. And that's why I'm telling you, as a community, this is why I tell people this, as a community, it is time to organize and do lawsuits. It's time to organize. These folks ain't gonna, I'm telling you, and then get that stuff through discovery, right? It's gonna take some resources. It's gonna take some people coming together and finding lawyers, and will pay them to do it. I'm telling you, that is the only way, because these folks gonna try to wait y'all out and keep doing the same old thing. But I'm telling you, court actions are the way to go. Look, a friend of mine sent a real good example to where we can email the Department of Public Examiners. We can email the Secretary of State. We can email the Attorney General. We can email the Lieutenant Governor. We can email the Office of the Governor. Everybody, the whole community can email and demand them to do it. But the community has to do that, not just 1 or 2 people. We can give you the facts. We can give you the facts. We can give you the facts. We can let everybody know that, right? of how to do it, but we need the community to be involved, right? And the same old apathy of feeling like nothing's going to change, it will never change if we don't put action to it. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. We can't be insane in our approach to this, right? There has to be deliberate, consistent pressure applied because these folks don't respect the community enough. And if they did respect the community enough, we would have seen different. So, man, you can go see, I laid out, and that's not an exhaustive amount because a lot of grants, it's kind of hard to find them. But one of the things you guys are going to see too is a lot of these grants we won't even qualify for because we don't have budgets, we don't have audits, we don't have that. Shout out to Uniontown moving in the right direction with their budget, but it's time to get an audit. Hadn't had an audit, if I'm not mistaken, for the last 14, 15 years since 2011, 2012. Crazy work. Crazy. Then y'all see a lot of these grants, only grants that we get is grants that don't require a financial statement or financial thing behind it, or audit or something with it. Right? We're hindering ourselves from our ability to make things happen. I'm just tired of all these folks keep talking and one time about keep them in office and doing all this stuff, and they ain't doing a goddamn thing. I'm talking about nothing, nada. And all of these folks, these baby boomers, and I'm speaking to the baby boomers, this is respectfully, right? A lot of you guys are part of the problem. This is what I mean by that. A lot of you have fought the good fight, then marched with civil rights. You was foot soldiers. You did a lot of things. But y'all the same ones still supporting these same folks that's been about 100% about the buffoonery and coming up with these crazy excuses, talking about, well, at least they doing something for the... What are they doing? What? Besides rhetoric and talk. What are the tangible results that you can see of their efforts? And if it's there, then that's no problem. We're going to keep it going. But we've had people who've been in these positions and have enriched themselves in these positions. They good. But what about the average person? Right? And this is no knock on anything got going on and not being disrespectful at all. I'm just speaking. It's the truth. It is the truth. I'm telling y'all, stop letting them folk play in y'all face election time, want to come around to y'all church and talk all this, that, and the third. Man, you better go kick rocks. God is not the author of confusion. Someone gracefully tried to tell me that, right? I would tell you this, right? Confusion ain't buying votes. That's not it. That's not the people have. And you know what's funny? The same people who allegedly be behind paying people for votes are the loudest ones when it comes to talking about the people have spoken. No, it ain't. The people ain't spoken when you going to people and you paying them a certain amount of money just so they can vote a certain way. And they do that because they know if you take the money, they are held accountable as well. And people get that little money just to pay. And that's what I mean, little money. $100, $200, that ain't no money. That ain't no money, right? I just wanted to, and this ain't talking down, I'm just telling people. If somebody gives you $200-$300 for you to vote for them and get a couple other people to vote for them, and then over that same period of time, over the 6 years, the county or the city gets $10 million to do certain stuff, but you don't see it being done. You don't see none of that $10 million. You don't even see $1 million work being done. You got to start asking yourself this question. Where's it going? Right? But again, it's been mighty quiet. It's been mighty quiet. I wonder why. When you're going to put out something and lie about it and somebody can come fact check you with actual proof, it's hard to perpetuate that lie. When you only got the same few people that keep pushing it. It's hard. Why don't you know I offer a solution, right? All right. I offer a solution. It's a secret, right? And I want y'all, look, I'm going to whisper it. So y'all, the people that's watching, I'm going to whisper it so you can tell somebody. Because, you know, when you telling people a secret, you want to whisper. Tell the truth. Why won't you just tell the truth and stop lying to the people? Because contrary to popular belief, if you post something, the internet has receipts, buddy. Yep. Receipts. Just tell the truth. Actually do the job. Care about the people. And I'm gonna quote the words of Albert Turner. If the elected official was actually doing their jobs and focus on doing their jobs and all instead of all of this foolishness, I wouldn't have nothing to write about. I'm gonna let that marinate. I'm gonna let that marinate. Let that sit in there, marinate, get deep down in that meat, right? But man, I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday. I'm about to go in here and eat with my baby girl. I just wanted to jump on here. Hey, tune in to the Black Bet Experience later on tonight. We'll be talking about some things in the community as well. But hey, yeah. Oh, just for some clarity too. Yesterday launched the Reverend Robert Shepherd Legacy Scholarship. That officially is open to apply from January the 10th to April the 30th. That is not only to high school students, but recent graduates as well, and GED recipients. So it's not just for a 2 or 4 year school. It's open to those that's going to trade school as well. So I want people to know that, man. Put that information out. If you can go to my page, you can see it. It's everything. You can click on the link and do it all online. And let's get this out to the kids, their parents, right? The email is there on that, the Reverend Robert Shepherd Legacy Scholarship at gmail.com. If you have any questions, email that, right? Because I want, and this is going to Perry County. The goal is to continue to expand. As we grow, as we raise money, and if you want to donate to it, please reach out to me, and I will get you the information of how you can donate. It'll be donated to a nonprofit organization, so you would get credit for it. And everybody that donates, you will see what's come in and what's going out. You will see that. You will get that, right? You will have transparency with that. You will have transparency with that. So, hey, you guys have a great, blessed day. And I would say this, Travis, you just made me think about this, right? Public office should not be a scam or a grift. Public office should not be a scam or a grift. And a grifting is you're making money off of the public office. It shouldn't be. And we got way too many people that their action shows that it is consistent with somebody who is scamming the community and using public office for personal gain. Yep. It's a lot of crazy stuff. And we just have to look at that and be honest about it, right? I just don't understand this, right? I don't know why somebody's stealing from you. They taking your money, and somebody who don't live where you live see all the things that's going on, and they come and say, hey man, it looks like that person's stealing from you, but now you mad at that person for saying to you that this is what it looks like, and they give you actual evidence of it, but you still mad at them. That's crazy. You know, we call that 2 scoops from cuckoo, right? I like to say the wheel turning, but the rat dead. That's what that is. That's what that sounds like. Man, you guys have a blessed and wonderful day. See you guys later. God bless.